Hello, welcome back to Frosthaven. We are headed to the east to look for robot bolt throwers for Achilles Tapir to kill. And we are currently stuck in a crystal trench where we are sandwiched between polar bears, snow imps, and pursuing hounds. I know I haven't fought polar bears or snow imps yet in this campaign, so that'll be fun. I have fought them before, like in my life. I don't remember the snow imps being much of a problem, although they do apply brittle. So if they hit you, the next attack damage that you take will be doubled. I feel like brittle applies after shield. I'm going to check that real quick. Maybe I should have done that before I started recording. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that says... So if shield was going to prevent 2 of your damage, then only 1 damage is getting through, then you're only suffering 1 damage. So brittle would make it so you suffered 2. So shield should be pretty good in this mission. Anyway, the goal is to get out of this crystal trench. I have to have all 4 characters escape without exhausting, and I have to kill all polar bears in order to escape. For whatever reason. Maybe because polar bears will just chase you down and kill you if you don't. The first thing that happens, now before I even start the scenario, is my Bone Shaper, Ch1Ep9 or something. Yeah, I think that's their name. Gets to summon a character from their hand, a summon from their hand, a level 1 summon card. And I think I'll grab the Wraith. I mean, I could grab a skeleton, honestly. In this situation, putting a skeleton in front of the team seems like it could save us some health, potentially. I'm just going to go for the Wraith, though. So, +1 Wraith in play. Throw it there. Grab 2 experience. Channel Dark. And I will now work out what I'm actually going to do for, like, the main part of round 1. I guess I should also draw attention to combat goals at this time. My Banner Spear, Zania Zafir, is trying to never exit a room with loot tokens in it. So there's this room and this room. Does it count as exiting a room to escape? That's an interesting question. I figured I could probably do this, and it's worth 2 check marks, so it seemed worth going for over Assistant, which is a little awkward, but shouldn't be that hard. Or Egoist, which I think it actually would be hard for my Banner Spear to collect more loot tokens than any other character. Banner Spear has not been doing a very good job of picking up loot tokens so far. My Drifter Muck Duck would like to perform 2 actions with lost icons in the same turn. Probably the plan is to do this toward the end of the fight, and that is fine. I didn't go for Daredevil, add 2 cards to your lost pile before your first rest. That sounded just like a little... this is the character who's going to be tanking incoming hits as well. I don't know. That's a little iffy. I guess one way to complete Daredevil actually is to lose cards to prevent damage. So, well, yeah, anyway, I didn't go for that. I went for the 1 check instead of the 2 check. For Ch1Ep9, our Bone Shaper, we want to never attack an enemy that has already acted in the round. I think this is the 3rd time that my Bone Shaper has gotten a combat goal that interacts with attacking, which is just really nice because my Bone Shaper rarely attacks. We summon minions which attack for us, and those don't count as our attacks. So these are just kind of free double perk checkmark combat goals, it feels like. I had some other options, but they only had 1 checkmark on them, so didn't really consider them. And then Achilles Tamir, the Deathwalker, I got another 2 checkmark combat goal. I have succeeded at a 2 checkmark combat goal every mission so far in this campaign with my Deathwalker. And kill an enemy and open a door in the same turn in either order feels plausible. So hopefully I will succeed at 1 again. The other 2 options were... Honestly, I think the other 2 options were harder to do and only worth 1 checkmark, so I didn't really consider them. Okay, so turn 1, as usual, is going to be a bit of buffing. Some slight changes, as my characters have like leveled up and the situation has changed a little bit. But for the most part, we're playing... Oh my gosh, these move so fast. For the most part, we are playing the sorts of buff that we have been playing all other times. Our polar bear is standing still, giving itself a shield to retaliate and healing itself. At 3 initiative. That is very fast. Also doesn't seem like a very relevant move. The snow imps are giving themselves 5 shield, and they are healing themselves. And I believe this icon means that they channel an element of my choice. I get to choose what element that is. So I already have Dark channeled for my Wraith. The only other thing I really use is Earth. My Banner Spear can use Air, and I just got Pinning Charge as well, which is a way to use Air again. But yeah, it doesn't really do very much. I think I'll just grab Earth. For the most part, my Banner Spear and Drifter don't interact with elements. It's just the Bone Shaper who cares about Earth and Dark, and the Deathwalker who cares about Dark. Okay, so that was the enemy turn. They saw me arrive and they were like, oh no, defend! And then I was like, oh yes, buff myself. I don't have to play the top half of Driving Inspiration and channel a light, and I don't think I'll bother. I've made the Banner of Strength though, so all of my party's attacks will be a bit stronger now. I am going to be unbreakable and have crushing weight, so +2 damage on melee attacks and +1 shield against incoming sources of damage. This seems like a mission where shield is quite useful. I'm going to be able to mark things for death, and I'm going to be able to consume shadows to get my moves and attacks doing a little bit more. And I have my Wraith move. And then I think like the biggest difference from usual is that I'm using 2 skeleton cards on round 1 with my Bone Shaper. I'm going to actually summon a skeleton with life and death. Oh, first I have to move, I guess. So first I have to move with Return Servant. I'm going to... maybe just go here. And then I will summon a skeleton with life in death. I want to go further. I want to go further. This way I'm close enough to use bone. Oh, I have, go here. This is probably fine. So the goal of this is on level up, I grabbed a new card. Bone Dagger. And the bottom half of this lets me curse something within 4 range, and then if it dies in the same round, I can immediately play the skeleton that's in my discard pile and summon it. And I don't even take damage for doing it, so. 7 health. I think like one of the snow imps is pretty killable next turn probably. Anyway, that was a very quick round 1. The enemies kind of just stood there. So we'll go round 2. For round 2 with so many enemies alive, I'm definitely... I mean, I have a flexible, strong turn here, but it's definitely going to be influenced by what the enemies choose to do. These are moving and making small attacks which curse if they can consume any element. Oh no, they curse by default, and if they consume any element, they hit another target. So they want to put 10 curses in my decks, is what I'm reading right now. Good grief. Okay, I don't really want that to happen. These have 2 movement and fly. And they're attacking at 3 range. So if I let the 2 elites attack me, that seems kind of permissible, and then we'll just hope that these ones in the back can't really do very much. If I put my Banner Spear on this tile, this elite already has 2 targets. This one will move forward to here to get to 2 targets, but then as long as nobody has moved past these, they can't do anything else to me. Okay, what's the polar bear doing? Making a move and attack. That is an attack. It's gonna land. It's gonna land against something that's brittle, probably, so it's probably gonna mean I lose a card. I can actually tank the entire attack with my Banner Spear's helmet. That might be what I have to do. Okay. Well, we have some kind of turn, to be sure. I've just realized also the turn as drawn up results in my Wraith not being able to do anything. That seems kind of bad. I would like my Wraith to be able to do something. Alright. So I think the plan is we start with the Banner Spear, and if I stand here, I think it's 1 more curse for me, but I get my Wraith's attack this turn. I think that's probably worth it. So we're moving 4. We're chucking a Javelin at Ch1Ep number... Yeah, Ch1Ep number 1. Do I have any items to make this deal more damage? No, this only has 2 range. Okay, chucking a Javelin, +0. 1, 2, 3. Channels another element for the enemies, who are better at using elements than I am, apparently. Alright. Now my Bone Shaper goes. First thing that happens in my Bone Shaper's turn is the Wraith moves. It's going to make an attack on this Ch1Ep, +1 damage. 1, 2, 3. Then the Skeleton moves. It's also making an attack on this Imp and critting. Okay. Well, I killed it before I had a chance to play my Bone Dagger. It's a little bit awkward. But I suppose probably fine. Just trying to like, what else are my characters doing this turn? Can I reassess how I'm doing this? I think it's probably fine. I've just noticed this is an elite as well. Does that has 3 move? 1, 2, 1, 2. It'll still block all of the other ones in. Unless the skeleton's still alive, I can unsummon the skeleton. I can unsummon the skeleton at any time. Can I unsummon it while the enemy is taking an attack on it? I don't believe I can. Weird turn. I'm gonna take like 7 curses. But I guess maybe it could be worse. Yeah, okay. Rest of Bone Shaper's turn. Could I move up and throw another skeleton down and just put all the curses into my Bone Shaper's deck, and it doesn't matter because my Bone Shaper doesn't do that much anyway? Maybe. How much do they attack for? 2. And they're attacking for -1, yeah? This game's so tricky. All of the enemies are so different from each other. It's really fun. And my Deathwalker is hitting how hard? Not hard enough. I have 4 range on Bone Dagger. Okay, I'm gonna summon a skeleton. Put it right here. -2 health. And I'm gonna use the bottom half of Bone Dagger, which is going to put a curse in the enemy deck. And I will target this Ch1Ep. It has to die by the end of the turn, though, for this to do anything. And that seems, honestly, like kind of borderline impossible. I don't think I'm expecting this to work. But hey, we'll see, I suppose. I got the curse applied. Not the end of the world. My Drifter is up next. Ooh, 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 ooh. I've had an idea. I could put my Drifter in the front of the team here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then... Yeah. Okay, I'm going to use my Bone Shaper's Translocation Rod, and I'm going to transport my skeleton to where my drifter was standing, and my drifter to where my skeleton was standing. And now it's my drifter's turn. And that lets me move with the bottom half of Deadly Shot. I am getting more curses now, I think, than even before, but there's an upside as well. I attack for 5 with Bloodletting, -1, damn, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's actually consequential that I got -1 on that. I now need a +1 for this to work. That is my drifter's turn. My drifter now probably like approximately dies or something. We'll see. Okay, Snow Imps. So first Snow Imp wants to move to a tile where it can attack 2 enemies without having disadvantage on its focus. So it will move here. And, ooh, note that this is Snow Imp number 10. So a lot of enemies, you only have 6 standees for them, but Snow Imps you have at least 10. Probably 12, I'm guessing. Alright, Snow Imp number 3 is going to attack my drifter first. -1 on an attack for 2 with a -1 on it already, so it deals 0 damage, but it does apply brittle. And puts a curse into my drifter's deck. Also, I just want to check the exact wording on this. On the next 6 sources of damage from attacks targeting you. Yeah, so I didn't take damage, so that's not a thing. Also, I want to make sure that this card actually says what I think it says. Yes, they are attacking 1 extra target. All right, so my Banner Spear also gets a curse. -2 on that attack. But the curse, I think, is the bigger issue. I'm about to have so many curses in my decks. Next up, Snow Imp number 10 wants to attack 2 enemies, including its target, with as little movement as possible. It will move here. It doesn't want to move here because it would have disadvantage against its target. Attack the drifter first, +1 on this attack. So that's hitting for 2. There's -1 there. I do have 1 shield from Unbreakable. And then I am brittle. So it ends up being 2 damage. I take a 1 and then brittle doubles it. And I take a curse. And then it hits my Banner Spear. My Banner Spear is brittle, even though it took 0 damage. This is an attack for 1, which will double to 2, and then I'm brittle again, and I take a curse. This is very rude. Quite rude. Next is Snow Imp number 8, a regular Snow Imp. It cannot move to attack 2 targets, so it'll only get to attack 1. I can move it here or here. Don't see much reason why one is different from the other. Put it here so there's a bigger clump of enemies, I guess. And then it will attack my drifter for 0 damage, but add a curse. And then Snow Imp number 8 can move twice to here. I think it prefers to have more targets than caring about the disadvantage on this, I'm pretty sure. Attack my drifter at disadvantage, +0, so that's 1, which just hits the shield, but it does make the shield matter. And then gives me a curse. And then against my Banner Spear, it's a crit miss, but I still get a curse. So many curses. Oh my god. Oh, also, they will consume, I guess, Earth. Since I'm not using that this turn, and next turn I can use the air for something. All right, now the Polar Bear goes and just hits my Drifter for 12. Does an attack for 6, and my Drifter is brittle. Oh. On the last attack, when brittle attempts to be applied, can I even do that? I don't know if I can do that because the other brittle wasn't removed. I was thinking I have a shield which can stop the application of a status, but because the last attack didn't deal me any damage, the brittle wouldn't be used up anyway, and so I can't prevent the next brittle from being added. I have another rules question. When do these actually add brittle? Is it after the attack resolves or during the attack? Because, like, if something's already brittle and then you hit it with an attack that causes it to be brittle. Let me just check that. The internet claims that it will continue to reapply, which I am going to choose to believe. All right, cool. Polar bear attacks me for 12. -1. It is actually kind of a big deal, because now it's only for 5, and then I have shield, so it's only 4, so I only take 8 damage. Which actually means, like, I don't have to burn a card yet. I am wounded now. I'm not healthy, but not dead either. Okay. We have survived the enemy's turn. It wasn't the most fun I've ever had in my life, but I mean, not everything can be a water park, right? Let's move 4 with our Deathwalker, and then make an attack on 2 enemies. Is it down to 3 health? So I wanted to use the crude bow, and I want one of the enemies to be this. And I just have to hit it for +1 damage, I guess. I can't use Circlet of Elements to have Dark because I can't use the Dark during my turn. Although I can Circlet of Elements a Dark for next turn, and probably I will. Anyway, we're going to mark this for death, and I'm just gonna roll a +1 modifier. It's that easy. +0. Oof. Very upsetting. I'll also attack Ch1Ep number 10. No! So upsetting. Alright, well, that is, as they say, too bad. Too bad. If I'd gotten this kill, I would have a shadow on the ground, and I'd get to summon another skeleton for free. In fairness, like, the melee area of this fight feels like it's pretty gummed up, so maybe having another skeleton wouldn't matter that much. Alright, that's the end of round 2. It was a lot more violent than round 1. Let's go round 3. Didn't I say I was going to use Circlet of Elements, and then I just, like, didn't? I want to use Circlet of Elements. I want to turn this into dark. Alright, sorry about that. My brain just, like, forgot I was intending to do that. I'm looking at my character mats here at the start of round 3 and realizing, like, I have a lot of items. I should maybe consider, like, using them this turn. We're probably going to want to long rest before we open the next door, so I might as well use them. Anyway, round 3. The polar bear goes quite early in the turn. Fascinating. Well, my drifter goes first. What are the Ch1Eps doing? We're doing some healing? Okay, so we don't care about the Ch1Eps this turn. They are not threatening. We only care about this polar bear. First time my drifter goes, takes a damage from wound. I don't immediately see how I get away from the polar bear. So I think I'm going to have to... Here's an advantage of an item I could have been using. I think I'm going to have to instead plan to survive against the polar bear. Let's go ahead and use Amulet of Life. It will heal me for 1 and remove this wound. And I'm going to use the bottom half of Prudent Preparation, which will heal me for 2. And I'm going to use Draining Arrows. Draining Arrows, I'm going to start by hitting Ch1Ep number 3. I get 3 targets. First is Ch1Ep number 3, +0, kills it. It channels a shadow for my Deathwalker. I'll put it underneath the polar bear. Then I'll hit Ch1Ep9, I think. Start working on this elite. +1 on that one, so that hits for 2. And I will hit the polar bear, which is about to attack me. +1 or +0, so 1 damage there. Unless it does not have shield, does not have retaliate. Okay, that's good. You're confused, you're confused. And that is Muckduck's turn. And then a polar bear is going to hit him. It is attacking with disadvantage. By the way, I went with a poison vial over a healing potion because I figured this was an escape scenario, so I'd probably be more interested in trying to get damage output faster. Kind of regretting that decision a little bit right now. I didn't even use the poison vial. The reason is I can poison it later in the turn with my Bone Shaper. Yeah, regretting the decision a little bit, maybe. Okay, the polar bear is just going to hit me. It is with disadvantage. +0 or +1. Okay. Well, that is a +0. So it hits for 4. I am on 4. I have Unbreakable still. Just barely. I go down to 1 health again. It does apply a wound to me. The polar bear is no longer muddled. Good grief. 1 HP and a wound. I could use my shield to prevent that wound. I think instead I can just use healing with someone before the next time my drifter moves, probably. Although I'm not entirely sure who. We'll work something out, I think. Oh, this also immobilizes my drifter. Wow. Okay, maybe that's the status that I need to block. No, I think I'm fine. Oh god. Yeah, I think I'm probably fine. Good grief. Bannersphere's turn. First thing that we are doing with our Bannersphere is granting 2 allies within 3 range a move of 3. I think. I could do it this way. I like that more. I don't think so. Heal my drifter for 2 and apply regenerate. Just trying to work out. Pinning charge seems pretty good. You are on 2 health, you are on 3 health, you are on 3 health. I guess getting any attack of any sort seems pretty good, but maybe a problem with relying on my Bone Shaper's attacks is that the minions are going to all attack the polar bear this turn. I'm going to grant 3 allies within 4 range a move of 2. Within 4 range. So I can give 1, 2, and 3 allies a move of 2. That does work. And then I'm going to use the top half of regroup. I guess the heal has been forced by the enemies. Good work, enemies. Do you have an explosive vial? If I want to give an enemy within 2 range of me 2 damage, I don't think I care. When I heal my drifter, the wound is removed, but the immobilized stays. Bone Shaper's turn. First thing that happens is my Wraith moves. So it's going to move away from its target so it doesn't have disadvantage on the attack, and then make an attack. +0 with the banner is 2 damage. Then My skeletons move. I don't know which skeleton's which. They both say 1 on them. I'll have to work out how to make them not both say 1 on them somehow. Are they in the... They are in the right spots. Okay. Well, we have to hit the polar bear because it has lower initiative. +1 damage on an attack that started at 2 and had a banner of strength is 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this skeleton moves up. And now I have Decaying Will, which actually can't target the polar bear because it moved already and it's an attack. So I guess I will use Decaying Will to target Ch1Ep number 10, which is on 2 health. This 1 damage is enough to kill. Worth noting, if you're curious, the attack modifier cards that have come from my perks have a little like bone shaper icon in their corner. So you can see that that's a +1 card that I've added to my deck from leveling up. If you're trying to like track when it matters for whatever reason, that's how you can. Then I can move and I can grant a summon a move of 2. So I could go here and move that to there if I wanted. Is that a thing I want? Is that remotely sensible? It feels remotely sensible. Maybe not extremely sensible. Okay. That's my Bone Shaper's turn, unless I'd like to use an item. I think I'm okay. And time for the Deathwalker to do something, maybe. I'm going to start by using a Black Barrage to hit this Ch1Ep number 8 for hopefully lots of damage. Oh yeah, that's a lot of damage. I am consuming my dark to do that. Not consuming my shadow. That makes another shadow. I feel like we're looking at this battlefield from the wrong angle a little bit. I've got a shadow under the polar bear and under the skeleton. And then I have move for 3 and poison an enemy I am next to. So I'm going to throw a poison on this polar bear. It's going to immediately be healed off, but, you know, that's fine. And my Deathwalker gets a loot. Is that the first loot of the campaign? I think it is. Not campaign, mission. Why does this say 2 loot pouches? Oh, because I picked up 2 loot. Okay. My Deathwalker gets 2 loot. A hide and a lumber. Very good. Let me just make sure that that's right. We've killed 4 enemies so far. Where are the loot tokens? Did somebody else get loot already? There's 1 here. And I've picked up 2. There's 1 underneath this skeleton. Okay. Cool. This is a problem in the physical game too. The shadows in particular, like there's just too much other stuff on the tile for the shadows to really work in terms of interface elements, because you can no longer see the other things that are on the tile. If I do it like this, it's significantly better, but still, like, I mean, now I can't see the loot pouch. Still not great. Ch1Ep is going to move as though it was making a melee attack and then heal this polar bear. Polar bear no longer has a poison on it. That's going to be the end of round 3. Big thing in round 4. I have a goal to kill an enemy and open a door in the same turn with my Deathwalker. I could think about doing that now. I think, though, probably I have other priorities, don't I? I think it's better to just like take a long rest in this room, especially looking at this banner. I can get it up toward the doorway pretty easily. Yeah, so I don't think we have to worry about that yet. It certainly does feel like this should be a good turn for us, though. There are only 2 enemies, after all. The polar bear and Ch1Ep are both going very slowly. I think they'll all be dead by the time that they move. First up, my Deathwalker is using Fluid Knight, so I need to perform an attack as though I was at the site of a shadow. I think what I might do is just get the Ch1Ep dead first. Yeah, let's do that. Let's use this shadow here. +1 damage. It's very dead. And the shadow gets consumed by the attack, but then the attack succeeding channels another shadow. I'll put the new shadow over here. And then I do have a move. I'll go grab some loot. Why not? My move is with the bottom half of Deepening Despair, which is the cool you can teleport between shadows card that I haven't actually used that mode of yet. But someday I will. An X-Nut. I think my Deathwalker has picked up 3 loot cards and nobody else has picked up any. Way to go, Deathwalker. Okay, Banner Spear. We're going to move 2. Then I'm going to grant 2 allies within 2 range, moves of 2. Let's move the Bone Shaper there. Let's move the banner here. Then I'm going to make a deflecting maneuver, which is mostly just an attack for 2 plus the banner. Oh yeah, I have a bunch of curses. Right, okay. Curses, once you draw them, are removed from your deck. Whereas if you draw the like natural crit miss, it reshuffles your deck for you. Well, that definitely didn't kill the enemy yet. My Drifter is going now. Drifter gets 1 health from regeneration. I can't move because I'm immobilized, but I can hit with Fortitude, which is an attack for 5. It looks like I have a lot of summons with my Bone Shaper. I should be okay. 5 plus 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, 4 plus 0? No, 5. It's actually 6. Because I have Crushing Weight and I have a banner. The Polar Bear's at 3 health. 4 Polar Bear. My Bone Shaper's turn. The first thing that happens is the Wraith moves. It hits it for 1. Next, this Skeleton moves. It crits it. No more Polar Bear. This Skeleton's allowed to move toward the Bone Shaper, and then my Bone Shaper actually gets a turn. I was expecting this turn to be better than it is. Well, I'm going to use the bottom half of Fell Remedy to heal for 2, and yeah, I was hoping that this would do something. But we've actually killed the enemies a bit too fast for that to be the case. Polar Bears and Ch1Ep's dead. I have an entire extra turn before a long rest if I want. So I guess I can kind of like reshuffle, then long rest, then open the door. This seems completely fine. This is so far not the most strenuous mission. Although, I don't know. I have a lot of curses in my deck, and there sure was that turn where my Drifter got attacked for like 5 different times or whatever. So round 5 is a complete throwaway round. I just have enough cards in my hand that I don't have to long rest yet, and I figure I might as well long rest before the door, so there's no like cost really to playing this round. I am going to move my Drifter. This angle for the picture-in-picture has been so bad. Well, first we regen. Then I'm going to move with Vile Assault to here. Vile Assault also heals me. And I'm going to use Violent Inheritance to perform a loot action. And pick up all of the loot within 1 hex of me. It's 3 loot cards. That is all of the loot on the map so far picked up. Which means I succeeded, at least for this room, at not leaving the room with my Banner Spear while there was loot on the ground. So that's good. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. How much loot is in this loot deck? 13. Okay. This is kind of interesting because this is a mission where reinforcements spawn, and in this game, you can farm reinforcements for loot. But, flip side, you can only get the entire loot deck. You can't get any more loot than that. So, I don't believe there's a random item on it. It would just be farming it for more material resources. Which, yeah, I guess I'll try to do a little bit of that. Deathwalker moves. We can just move up toward the door. I'm gonna change my picture-in-picture. Move to here. We channel dark with that move. Don't anticipate that mattering. Banner Spear. I'm going to use at all costs, which will heal all allies for 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I lose 2 health. I gotta check Brittle again. Is it whenever I lose health from any source, or is it when I lose health from an attack? Any source. Okay, so actually I lose 3 health. And I am no longer brittle. This ends up not mattering at all because immediately now, next turn, my Bone Shaper is going to heal me. I also have a move for 4. Let's move up to there. Gosh, this angle doesn't work either. What is up with this terrain piece? I guess I'm kind of zoomed out compared to where I would usually be. I have the entire rest of the map on the screen. That's my Banner Spear, and then my Bone Shaper is going to use Transfer of Essence, which will also channel Dark. We'll heal my Banner Spear, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I take 2, and I guess also I can make this move toward me, and I can make this move toward me. Do I want that? Not sure I want that. Well, it's what I've done. The problem is I'm long resting next turn with my Banner Spear, and I want to move the Banner of Strength forward when I do that. So round 6, I'm mostly long resting. Since my Drifter has a 12-card starting hand, by the way, my Bone Shaper also does, but puts one of the cards in play before the start of round 1, which means I have to rest 1 round earlier. It's kind of like an interesting note to make. This is a May, so there may be missions where I don't want to play a card on turn 1 to have more turns of effective combat strength on Bone Shaper. I don't know if that'll ever come up. Probably not. Anyway, my Drifter doesn't have to long rest yet, so I decided just to make a move for 2 instead, and then I can move the character token on 2 of my persistent abilities backward to 1 slot with Relentless. And part of the reason for that was now when my Banner Spear long rests, I can give an ally within 3 range a move of 2 and move my banner a little bit closer. If I wanted to unsummon the skeleton, I could, but I don't think it's necessary. I decided for my long rests that Banner Spear would lose Deflecting Maneuver. This seems like a mission that is more about having shield to not take damage from attacks and having the ability to apply disadvantage to enemies. That was my reasoning for that. I decided my Bone Shaper would lose Command the Wretched. I haven't seen any enemies with shield, so the Pierce on the top half of it doesn't do that much. Bottom half of it's fine. I mean, they're all fine cards, you know. And then I decided to lose Lingering Rot with my Deathwalker. With such low HP enemies, it doesn't feel like applying poison will be that big a deal. And I have some other plans for my other cards. Feels like every card on my Deathwalker is has a very specific role. It's like there are 4 cards dedicated toward comboing massive turns with shadows, and then there are 4 cards that are like, okay, on all the other turns you have to use these ones, kind of thing. That's round 6. Quick round. In order to be combat relevant in round 7, I am going to short rest with my Drifter now. We are losing Bloodletting. I reroll that. When I reroll, I take 1 damage, which breaks my regenerate, which is kind of rude. So it's actually more like 2 damage, I guess, but still. Draining Arrow's also a very good card. That's the one that gives a bunch of enemies disadvantage. I did just say that I didn't think disadvantage was as important as shield in this mission, but I mean, still seems kind of important. Anyway, let's put together the turn. Round 7 begins. A little thing that I'm thinking about that I want to draw attention to is the other mastery on Achilles. Remove 7 shadows in 1 round. I can have 5 shadows on the board at the start of a round. And the natural way in my mind, to remove 7 shadows in a round would be to have a mark of death on an enemy already at the start of the round and have my allies killed that. That places a 6th shadow, causing me to remove 1. Then there are 5 shadows. And then if I used Anger of the Dead, I can remove any number of shadows within 3 range of myself. So I remove all 5 of the shadows on the ground at that point, is the plan. At that point, I've removed 6 shadows. If I kill an enemy with Anger of the Dead, another shadow will be put into play because of the mark for death. And then I can use my move ability with the bottom half of a card to remove that shadow as well. So that's like conceptually how I'm thinking about removing 7 shadows right now with the card pool that I have available at level 2. And I'm kind of thinking in the final room of this mission might be the best place to try to do that I've had so far in this campaign. We will see, though. I don't have any recollection whatsoever what's in this room, really. I remember that wolves start attacking me from behind. But yeah. I also have a combat goal with my Deathwalker, kill an enemy and open a door in the same turn in either order. So while I am starting this turn with my Banner Spear, I'm starting my turn with my Banner Spear by using Regroup to grant 2 allies within 3 range move of 3, and I'm starting by moving my Deathwalker to open the door. So it is actually going to end up being my Deathwalker who is doing the door open. Also, I've just remembered that the hounds come in from behind, so I'm not going to be able to move the picture-in-picture up that much. All right, let's open a door. I still have 2 moves left after this. 2 polar bears, both elites. 3 snow imps behind them. What is their move? Polar bears they are not moving. They are attacking for +1 and making it so we can't use items. The snow imps are doing this irritating thing where they move and give a billion curses to me. Okay, but overall that seems like a pretty easy first turn of the room since the polar bears just stand still. Only have to worry about the imps, and there aren't that many of them this time. Let's read a blurb. I am meant to read 21.1. Just when you think you've outrun them, the howling starts again. You glance behind you to see the hounds emerging from the shadows of the forest, shaggy silhouettes coalescing into fur and fang. There are too many to fight, so your only choice is to keep running. At the start of each round, spawn 1 hound at any empty starting hex. It is normal for 2 characters, elite each second spawning for 3 characters, or elite every time for 4 characters. So at the start of each round, from now on, there will be a hound spawned at an empty starting hex. And we got to get through this room. The goal of the scenario is to escape and to kill all polar bears before I do so. So I can't like run out of the room with polar bears still alive, although with where they're standing, that feels like it would be pretty hard anyway. So I wanted to get a kill. Black Barrage does have 4 range, and I have 2 move left from my Banner Spear. So what if I moved there? And then the other thing my Banner Spear is going to do is put this banner here. So we're in range of the banner as well. And perhaps that's it. I could channel light if I wanted, but it sure doesn't seem like a sensible thing to do given that the imps are just going to use it to attack an extra target. Oh, this one's poisoning instead of cursing, I've just noticed. So I guess I have 2 attacks like that, one of which poisons and one of which curses. Okay, so that's my Banner Spear's turn. No top half of a card, unfortunately. Drifter goes next. All right, that's my Deathwalker. What did I just do? How did I do that? Interesting. I don't really know all of the hotkeys and stuff for Tabletop Simulator. Yeah, my Drifter is going to walk into the room with Vile Assault, which will heal me for 2. And then I'm just going to poison up this polar bear. +0, I've got the Banner of Strength. So I hit it for 2 and apply poison. It's my Driftwalker's turn. Deathwalker. I am going to hit this imp with a Black Barrage. I'm going to consume a shadow in order to give the attack +2 damage, and I'm next to the banner. So as long as I don't crit miss, this works. It only has 3 health, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. That kills. I'm on a 5 mission streak of completing double checkmark combat goals with my Deathwalker. Seems wild to me. I can move 4. Maybe I want to move away, actually. So a shadow gets spawned. I'm going to put it there. Yeah, let's move away. Like, I don't have to stand here and let them attack me. My Drifter is now awkwardly placed because my Drifter is getting attacked. It feels kind of cheesy to, like, say I'm allowed to move my Drifter this late in the turn. I feel like I would have had to work that out earlier. But yeah, like, it's much better for my Drifter to be standing here. It saves me being attacked twice. Oy. But I missed that, so we'll just own up to the fact that we missed it. Snow-Umps go. Snow-Ump Elite moves forward, attacks my Drifter. It is only an attack for 1 damage. Oh, okay. It also applies poison. And procs Unbreakable. There are definitely reasons I would have preferred this attack didn't happen. I guess it only gets attacked once, actually, because both Snow-Umps had to move to the same tile in order to make the attack. The same hex. But yeah, getting poisoned is worse than not getting poisoned, I would argue. First thing that happens in my Bone Shaper's turn. Wraith moves. Then the Skeletons move. And then the Bone Shaper moves. So I have a move for 4 to get in the door. 1, 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, I have a battle goal. Never attack an enemy that has already acted in the round. So I don't know what I thought I was doing with Decaying Will at 46 initiative. I guess I was hoping that the enemies wouldn't move at 46 initiative, which, honestly, it isn't that unreasonable of a hope, I wouldn't say. I might actually use my shield to not be poisoned. Oh, they also hit with Brittle. It's Brittle and poison. Oh, that's actually really gross. Do I have an Amulet of Life? I thought I used that and didn't long rest. I'm pretty sure I don't actually have an Amulet of Life. Yeah, that's... I guess if I heal next turn, it gets rid of both of those debuffs. That's fine then. We'll just have to work out how to heal before we take infinite damage. And I think I'm going to be cocky enough here to say I don't need to apply poison to this polar bear. Which might be true. It also might not. That's the end of the round. Look at my glomp of units. Just in a... They're all within range of the Banner of Strength. Kind of funny. The first thing that happens at the start of the next round is we get a Hound. I don't know how to do this. Spawn Elite. I'm going to put it here because that seems like it's as far away as possible. And yeah, now we have to worry about Hounds chasing us. They move 5 and attack for 4. Kind of scary, to be honest. Alright, anyway, I will work out what I'm doing for round 8 here. I think this is going to be a pretty sweet mission. This reminds me of XCOM 2 Long War 2. There are a lot of missions where you will complete an objective and then you have to run to an evac zone while enemies spawn at the objective, basically. Like reinforcements will drop around the relay you destroyed or something like that. It's just a really good time. It's just really fun. So yeah, we'll give this a go. All of my people are moving faster than all of their people. The Hound is... Well, that would be a terrible intent for it to have if it were next to me, but it's not, so it won't do a very good job of getting next to me. The polar bears are double attacking. Hopefully I can kill one of them and the other one won't start off next to my characters. Okay. We're starting with Banner Spear, and I'm going to move 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then use Tip of the Spear. Always fun when I get to actually use one of these cards. I think if one of my frontliners retires, probably my Banner Spear will have to get in the front line more often. Also, though, like, as I get more of a card pool, I'll probably get better at moving and be able to be in the front line more often. Anyway, it would be fun to get to use more of these cards. As it is, they are often just riding the bench. And that's too bad, because I feel like they're really cool. Anyway, we are attacking... I'll do the Snow Imp first. It's an elite, so unlikely to die. I think I'll put the Banner of Strength extra damage on this polar bear. But I'll do the elite first, +0. 1, 2, 3. And then I will hit the polar bear. This one is with the +1 from the banner and +1 from the modifier. So, and +1 from poison is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not a bad turn. 10 damage. 10 damage feels like it's a good amount of damage. I'm going to use the bottom half of Prudent Preparation to heal my Drifter. I am good with my Drifter healing. And then I'm going to use Protective Scepter. I have to remember this, but I am granting for the rest of the... Wait. Okay. I was confused by this. There's a little icon at the bottom there that says until the end of the round. Because it says during your turn, grant an ally within 2 range 1 shield, and I was like, and then it ends at the end of my turn? What's the point of that? But no, this lasts until the end of the round. So I have to remember somehow that my Banner Spear has +1 shield from that. So I've used the bottom half of Prudent Preparation, I have used my Protective Scepter, and then I have Continuous Health, which is a ranged attack. I'm making a ranged attack with my Drifter. +1 damage on it, plus the poison, plus the banner, means 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not bad at all. And I get to move a character token on one of my persistent abilities backward 1 slot. So I'll move Unbreakable back a bit. That's my Drifter's turn. First thing that happens on my Bone Shaper's turn is the Wraith moves. It attacks and kills. 3 health, banner, poison. Actually overkilled by 1. Makes my Deathwalker's turn worse. Why'd you have to go and do that? Then the skeletons move. They cannot get through the door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe this one is going to move here to be closer. The skeletons are going to like lag behind and fight the wolves. Is basically my plan for the skeletons, and that's okay. I don't mind that happening at all. I think it's fine to give my Wraith a move of 2. Alright, I'll give myself a move of 2 to here, get out of the way of the door, and give my Wraith a move of 2 up here. It's floating on top of an obstacle tile, which nothing else can use. Well, actually the snow imps could, but... So that seems good too. It does mean that it's not in range of the banner, which is a little awkward, but I think it's okay. Then I'm going to give my Wraith an attack with +1 damage. It's going to hit Snow Imp number 7. -1, so it hits for 1 damage. That is too bad. But okay. There is so much particular stuff going on with my Deathwalker. You remove a shadow within 3 range. Perform the attacks as if you are occupying a hex with a shadow. So I think if I perform an attack from this shadow, I can't remove this shadow in order to give it extra damage, unfortunately. I do still have my crude bow. I think I left myself options here depending on what was going on with like the health values of the enemies. I think I'll use the bottom half of Call of Doom to move though. 1, 2, 3. Channel's dark. Then I'll use the top half of Forceful Spirits. I'm going to use my bow to get 1 more range on it and use the Banner of Strength for an attack of 4 against this Snow Imp. It kills it, generates a shadow for me. There seems fine. Yeah, and then I also get an attack for 2 against the Polar Bear. 2 damage. Let's get it started. So now we have the awkward thing, because the Snow Imp moves, and, well, it doesn't actually move, it just stands still. It attacks my Banner Spear. It crits my Banner Spear, which is 4 damage. I have 1 shield. Get hit for 3. I use the Heater Shield. I only get hit for 2. I'm using the shield from my Protective Scepter from my Drifter. As you get more items, like the interactions between the items starts to become more and more of the game that you're playing, it feels like. I do get made brittle by that attack. Hound moves now. It has a base movement of 5. So it attacks, nothing. Then it moves 3. 1, 2, 3. Then it attacks, nothing again. Turn. And now the Polar Bear goes. The Polar Bear is the problem. The Polar Bear attacks nothing, then it moves. I'm going to move it to here. It wants to attack my Banner Spear because my Banner Spear has lowest initiative. And it will do so. A +1. So that's 5 incoming damage. Which prevents use of items. Does it prevent use of items before? Oh god. That might prevent use of items before I get a chance to use my item to block the damage. I think it probably does. So I was going to use this. But it prevents use of items. So I think I might have to burn a card. Let me look up the rules. I have looked up the internet, and the internet says I do get to use this, and then I gain the condition at the end of the attack. But yeah, I'm using Deathproof Charm. Whenever you would suffer damage from any source, negate the damage. I will, in fact, instead of taking 10 damage, take a 0 damage. Seems a lot better. I am still brittle, and I am now impaired, so I can't use items until the end of my next turn. But yeah, not being dead feels like the lead here. That's the thing that we really care about. First thing that happens at the start of round 9 is another Elite Hound spawns. Whoa, they're coming for me. It's okay, I've got some skeletons. We'll be alright, maybe, possibly. We'll see. I feel like ever forward is like a Latin family motto or something. Regardless, we're gonna keep running forward. The hounds are chasing me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're actually going to reach my skeletons this turn as well. Unless, yeah, they go for the Bone Shapers. So they will reach my skeletons, which means both that the hound will reach my skeletons and also that the skeletons will be fighting my hound instead of continuing to move forward with me. That is fine. Snow Imp, going to make a regular attack. Polar Bear, gonna move and make a slightly larger than usual attack. I am hoping that those enemies will be dead before this gets to happen. I looked it up, and for purposes of being adjacent to 2 shadows, if you are on a shadow tile, you do count as adjacent to that shadow. That was a rules question that I had last time. So if I want to make an attack against this polar bear for 4, with the top half of Deepening Despair, which I would kind of like to do, I just need to move shadow closer to it. Oh, except I don't really want to move me, because I would like me to be within range of the Banner of Strength still. So we move all shadows up to 1 hex with the bottom half of Wave of Anguish, but I don't myself move. And then Wave of Anguish, or not Wave of Anguish, Deepening Despair gets to make an attack for 4 here. Oh, it's a crit. It's for 5 as well. So that's hitting for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've gotten some good crits recently. This is marked for death as well. Banner Spear goes next. I would like to use Combined Effort to get this kill. Is that what I want? Or do I want Pinning Charge and then I let somebody else get the kill? I think we'll go with Combined Effort. So enemy is at 4 health. Oh my god, that crit too. +1 experience for doing this. And then I get to give 3 allies within 4 range moves of 2. So we'll move our Deathwalker up. We'll move our Banner up. We'll move our Drifter up. To there, I think. And we'll move our Bone Shaper up as well. I do have a scenario goal to never leave a room that has loot in it on my Banner Spear. There is quite a lot of loot on the ground here still. I probably have the ability to loot all of it next turn with my Drifter though. Okay, that's my Banner Spear's turn. That gets rid of Impair, so I can use items again next turn. Drifter time. Drifter is going to move 3 and gain a shield. And then we're going to attack this Snow Imp for way more health than it has. It's an attack for 5. It's a regular Snow Imp that only has 3 health to begin with. It is dead. So now my Drifter is standing in the middle of 4 loot and should be able to just pick all of that up next turn with Violent Inheritance. This card's been doing quite well, actually. I think the last like 3 times that I've played that, it's gotten me a sum of 11 loot or something. Now, admittedly, I might have gotten that loot other ways anyway, but still. It does feel like it's made it much easier to pick up loot. We have some hounds on the map. They are moving 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this will attack for 4 on this Shambling Skeleton. I guess why not? -1 is 3. I'm going to just take 1 damage from that and use my Warden's Robes. Give my skeleton 2 shield. There's another hound. Oh! Oh, my Bone Shaper didn't move yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now my Bone Shaper moves. And the first thing that happens when my Bone Shaper moves is the Wraith moves, and it's going to decide to move backwards and kill some hounds, I guess. So, take an attack. -1 damage, so 1 damage. Then the skeletons move. +0, 2 damage. Oh, it has Retaliate too. Oh, that is quite upsetting. This one attacks it. It's a crit miss. I think it still retaliates. Yeah, that's quite upsetting. That isn't actually the end of my Bone Shaper's turn. I shouldn't have picked up that loot. Yeah, I should not have picked up this loot because I'm going to move. So we'll put this back on the board. I will move 2 to here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess before I move, actually, I can Eternal Torment on the Hound. That's fine. I'm not going to give a summon adjacent to it an attack, because if I did, my summon would immediately die, and that kind of seems like not the best. Snowps are all dead. Polar bears are all dead. That is the end of the round. Round 10. You may notice there is 1 card total left in hand. So like for the most part, I'm just playing the cards that I had left this round. Mostly I am running away 2 tiles at a time. Possible that I should have rested, but didn't choose to do that. The hounds are moving and confusing all adjacent enemies. I'm confused by that choice. Don't know about you. So I guess this one will move here to have 2 enemies to confuse. I'm not actually sure that it does that. You know, I don't think it does. I'm going to say it does. It seems like it would want to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're confused. You're confused. And the hounds are done. We got ourselves a Deathwalker. I can use Anger of the Dead to probably kill a hound here. I also have Fluid Knight at some point if anything's ever next to this shadow. I should have moved that shadow last turn when I moved all shadows 1 tile. I could have moved it to like here. Yeah, I should have done that. Anger of the Dead starts at 2 range, and then I can consume a shadow to give it +1 range as many times as I want. So I'm gonna consume 2 shadows to give it +2 range. And then we're starting at 4 damage then, +1 from the banner is 5 damage against this hound. I rolled a +1 modifier. Does that loot token count as being in this room? Because I'm not allowed to leave a room with a loot token in it with my banner spear. That is an interesting question that I don't know the answer to. I do get to make a shadow when this dies, and I get 2 experience for consuming those 2 shadows. And we will move 2 toward the next room. Yeah, I don't know. Is a door hex considered inside a room? Let's Google it. Okay. I think the answer is no. I'm in a doorway. If I'm on that tile, I am not in a room. So that doesn't count then as being loot that is in this room that I'm trying to leave with my banner sphere without there being loot on the ground. That is my understanding. Is it correct? I am not certain, but it's my understanding. Let's move 2. Please. Oh my god. Good. Move 2 with the bottom half of Javelin, and then I will use that at all costs. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I take 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. Gain an experience. Get some healing on the team. So then my Bone Shaper's turn. The first thing that happens in my Bone Shaper's turn is my Wraith attacks. It's with disadvantage because it is confused, so it only deals 1 damage. And my Skeleton moves, also with disadvantage. It crit missed again and gets retaliated against for 2. Maybe just stop making attacks, friend Skeleton. I think using Fell Remedy to heal my banner sphere for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, makes a lot of sense. Gives me an experience. And I'll use Transfer of Essence to move 2. Like so. Yeah. The summons are just gonna have to hold down this corridor for as long as they can, while the rest of the party tries to run away, I guess. On my Drifter's turn, I am beginning by doing a loot action with 1 range, which picks up 4 loot pouches for me. Ooh, baby. Yeah. Let's see what we got. We're down to 8 cards left in the loot deck after this. A hide, a snow thistle, and an arrow vine. All right, cool. So with only 8 cards left in the loot deck, presumably there are some enemies in here. If I wanted to try to wait for a really long time to get as much loot as possible, I could potentially wait for a while. Anyway, that's the top half of Violent Inheritance, and then I just have a move for 2. Now that's my Drifter's turn, and I think every member of the party is going to short rest here. It feels a little dubious to be long resting. I guess my Banner Spear could try to bring the Banner of Strength with us, but I'm kind of okay with just leaving it there for the wolves to hit. So let's take some short rests. Short rest is meant to be declared at the end of the turn. So we go end round, and actually it's like right now is when I short rest. Lose combined effort, this seems fine. I don't care much about the fact that it lets me move allies now that I've given up on bringing the banner with me. Lose bloodletting? Is that what I lost last time? I still don't want to lose bloodletting. I'm going to reroll that. Into losing prudent preparation. I'll lose 1 health as well. That is okay. I wonder if there's a hotkey to spread cards on the table. One of the skeletons is dead. I think it is the... I have no idea. Here's the problem. How do I tell which one is which? I don't know. I'm losing Bone Dagger. That's fine. I was hoping for big things from that card, and it very much did not perform this mission, but, you know, there will be more chances. And then I'm losing Anger of the Dead, which is, I think, also okay. I'm not set up to remove 7 shadows in 1 turn. That might have to happen on a mission where we're not moving quite so much. I don't know. Okay, all that being done, the first thing that happens in round 11 is we make a new hound, and other than that, I have to work out what cards I'm playing. Observation as we go into round 11. I have so many cards still. I feel like I just have so many cards. Hounds are making a smaller move and then an attack. Seems fine. My characters are all moving first. So I'm going to start this by moving 3 with my Drifter and opening a door. 1, 2, 3. Wait, I'm sorry, that's it? Oh. Okay. Well, I was expecting more. When door 2 is opened, read 12.1. There's 1 polar bear here, and there are 4 escape hexes. Okay, so the rest of the mission is a matter of trying to min-max a little bit. We're trying to get the rest of this loot deck, I guess. I thought there would be like 4 polar bears in here or something. I am very surprised that that's it. What's the polar bear doing? It is moving and attacking twice. Okay, but like all of my characters have full health, it doesn't even really matter. This is my 4th move. I'll move into base contact with it, and I will use Fortitude, which is an attack for 5 base plus 1 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is a very extended map, isn't it? Just 1 experience for that. All right, with my Deathwalker, I had this idea that I was going to need to make a lot of shadows for Eclipse. I am starting to feel like maybe I don't. I guess I still have the card that lets me teleport. If I made a shadow up here, I could walk down to where all the hounds are spawning. Maybe multiple people could walk down to where all the hounds are spawning, and then I could use the shadow to get us all out at the end. How many cards? You and all allies may treat each hex with the shadows being adjacent to each other hex with a shadow during move abilities this round, then move 3. YOLO? Okay, we're gonna get out of line. I'm using Eclipse. I burned this card when I use it. I am making 3 shadows. I'm going to make one of these shadows here. And then I'm going to make one here and one here. They all have to be within 3 range of me. Then I will use the bottom half of Call of Doom to move 3. And I'm actually moving away from the exit. I am trusting that my Drifter can kill a polar bear. Is that true? I don't know. Hope so. Hold on. Maybe we should. The polar bear is attacking how many things? It has 10 health left. It applies wounds. I guess I have a vial that poisons it. Maybe I should have used that. I think I'm allowed to say, hey, wait a second, I'm going to poison it as well. I feel like I'm allowed to say that. I'll do it next turn, if I remember. I think my Drifter can beat that. 1v1. Just like completely needless 1v1. Oh, I have to burn 2 cards in the same turn. Yeah, I can easily beat it. Next turn I use Vile Assault and Violent Inheritance and kill it. One problem with doing this is it reopens the issue of my Banner Spear leaving a room that has loot on the ground in it. Oh well. That's my Deathwalker's turn. Polar Bear goes now, actually. It is going to move, and then it will attack 2 targets. I don't believe it's allowed to attack the same target twice. Yeah, I'm certain that it's not. So it's just attacking Drifter for 4, plus 0. So 3 after the Unbreakable, and you know what? Let's... I know I, am meant to do this before I see the thing, but it seems fine to give it a, oh no. Sometimes these break, and I don't know how to make them work again. Why did it break? Oh, it worked again. Yeah, I don't know why that happens. It seems fine to use this. I mean, I'm only making a... If it was like a crit, and then I was like, no, I'm going to give it disadvantage, even though I was meant to do that before I rolled the card, I'd feel that was cheesy, but in this case, I'm just doing it. I just forgot to do it. There's just a lot of stuff going on. I prevented the wound from happening. I took 3 damage. Seems mostly okay. Polar Bear is done. Now my Banner Spear goes. I'm going to move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I am going to use Driving Inspiration. Attack this for 3 because of my Banner Strength with advantage. I will take 3 instead of 0. I do have an Explosive Vial. I can deal another 2 to it. I think that's actually relevant here. My summons are no longer confused. So this is meant to deal 2, this is meant to deal 2. But yeah, it has Retaliate, so getting this Shambling Skeleton to kill it instead of deal a non-lethal attack to it not only stops it from attacking this turn when it's still alive, but also stops it from retaliating and killing this skeleton. So I think that is enough reason to use my potion. I'm going to Explosive Vial, deal 2 damage to this hound. That's not an attack. I've already used the banner once in my turn, so I couldn't use it again in my turn anyway, but also just noting that it's not an attack. Oh, and I get a loot! Banner Sphere has not picked up very much loot in this here campaign. 1 coin. Thank you very much. Uh, our, our, our goal is to become a member of the merchant class, so yeah. You know, it's not that many things. I already have 2 potions. I need 2 more potions, and then 3 helmets, 3 armors, 3 boots, and 3 weapons. It's not actually that much. I think this is pretty achievable, and should maybe even be a priority. First thing that happens in my Bone Shaper's turn is my Wraith attacks. Got a -1 on that, so it hits for 1. Then my Skeleton attacks. It's a kill. And then my Bone Shaper actually takes a turn. We will go 1, 2, 3, 4. And we will summon a Skeleton. Let's go, Skeleton, come on. This one's in play. I take 2 damage. I get an experience. How much loot is left in the deck? 7. 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay, we don't want to get like too out of line here. I could see myself getting carried away, but yeah. The Hound obviously is not allowed to retaliate because it's dead, in case you are wondering about that. If the Hound is dead, it doesn't retaliate. Hound number 2 moves first and moves 3. Hound number 5 then moves up and presumably kills this skeleton. It is very dead. And that is the end of round number 11. So we're in this really interesting, like very min-maxy spot. It's a sort of spot that is interesting like once or twice and then stops being interesting, to be honest. We are in a spot where we can get 7 more loot from the loot deck, and doing so requires intentionally stalling the mission a bit. So I'll get definitely a little bit. Getting a little bit of this feels like just kind of free. Like we're just using our cards to do that. But I don't want to go too over the top, I don't think. Anyway, round 12, let me work out my cards. First thing that happens, start around 12, we summon another one of our infinite supply of hounds. I'm just, like, this is the inverse of the Australian Emu War, huh? The start round button. Polar Bear is going at 29 initiative, which is the slowest initiative of the round. Wow. Hounds are moving up and attacking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one will get an attack, but this one won't quite. Bone Shaper moves first, though. Oh, actually, with my planned Bone Shaper turn, this one will get an attack. So I guess I need to change what my planned Bone Shaper turn was. Probably. First thing that happens in my Bone Shaper turn, Wraith attacks. -1 damage, hits for 1. Then the skeleton goes, moves toward the hound. And my Bone Shaper actually gets cards. So I'm going to use Decaying Will to hit this hound. I was going to put a skeleton next to it to get +1 damage, but putting a skeleton next to it gets the skeleton attacked, like gives the hounds another attack. So that actually seems kind of bad. I do get +1 from the banner and +1 from my modifier card though. So it hits for 3 and applies poison. And then I have the bottom half of Flow of the Black River, gives me a move of 2 and a summon a move of 2. And that is my Bone Shaper's turn. Next up is the Hounds. So, hound number 2 will move first. It will move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't quite attack. And hound number 3 will move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then hound number 5 comes in. Kind of awkward because I'd love for it to be on the same tile as everything else, but okay. What is my Banner Spear's move? It's a Javelin. Well, it gets an attack. It's an attack for 4. Monster Curse. I guess it deals 0. I have a Javelin, and I grant 2 allies within 3 range a move of 3. I have a Deathwalker as well. Okay, I'm gonna chug a Javelin at this Hound, Hound number 2. +1 damage, and I have a banner, so that deals 5. And then I grant 2 allies within 3 range move of 3. I'm gonna move this banner of strength forward. I don't think I care about anybody else moving. That all seems fine. Ooh, unless I want this skeleton here so I can loot with it next turn. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Deathwalker goes now. This should be pretty sweet. I'm going to use Fluid Knight to consume this shadow. It is within range of the banner as well to hit this Hound. +2 damage. That is very dead. I get +1 experience. I channel Dark. And I get to make a new shadow, which I'm just going to put in the same place, I think. Actually, you know what? I'll put it underneath my banner spear. Seems like it might be slightly better. I do have to loot this stuff. Okay. I'm going to put it here, actually. Ah. Tabletop Simulator is kind of janky, but it's janky in a very enjoyable way. I'm going to use the bottom half of Black Barrage to move all shadows up to 2 hexes now. And one of the big reasons for this is I'd like this shadow to be here. Also, how cool is it that my Deathwalker is like standing here, just killed a thing here, and could attack this polar bear if I wanted? That's just cool. That is just a cool character. That's really sweet. Okay, the other thing I want is I want all of my characters to have shadows underneath them, basically. And the goal is on the turn where I leave, I want everyone to be able to instantly move from one shadow to another without having to use movement to get between. I think Hounds can make it so you're not allowed to move. So I am a little bit cognizant of the possibility of them just like drawing that over and over again and stopping me from leaving. I would prefer that that didn't happen. But like probably it won't, you know? Our Drifter goes now. Perform 2 actions with lost icons in the same turn. That is what I'm about to do. First I'm going to use the top half of Vile Assault. You know what? I might as well use this Poison Vial even to apply poison before I do that. Oh my gosh. This fight is so spread out. It's like barely even on camera. So we are attacking with Crushing Weight 4. That's a crit miss. Okay. Still applies poison. Then we're attacking with Crushing Rate for 4 again. Oh. Maybe my Drifter can't kill a polar bear. Huh. Okay, well, good card. I do apply a wound. Then with Violent Inheritance, I get to move. I will move. I'm going to move onto a tile I can leave from, actually. Just in case things go really badly. And then I have an attack for 3. Oh my god. Well, it deals 2. I gotta say, I don't think that sequence of events on that turn results in me dealing only 2 damage very often. I think that is a somewhat unfortunate roll. Polar Bear takes 1 damage from the wound, though. So, who's the real winner? And doesn't do anything because it doesn't have move rolled on its turn. Okay, that was a yikes. Let's go round 13. The first thing that happens on round 13 is you're spawning in an Elite Hound. There you go. And then we find out what everybody's doing. The polar bear is shielding itself, retaliating to, and healing itself. It's no longer wounded. Oh my god. The drifter may actually lose. That is wild. You know, if the polar bear is standing on that shadow, none of my party can teleport to the shadow. Well, I guess my banner spear has jump, so my banner spear can jump and teleport to the shadow because it gets to move over enemies that way. Yikes. I think what I'll do, I have a move 2 and move all shadows up to 1 hex. I was primarily using it because I want to move these 2 shadows forward 1 to be underneath this hound. But also, I might just move this shadow like into the evac zone. That seems like a good plan. I'm not allowed to evac until the polar bear's dead though. And it's no longer wounded, so I no longer have certainty of its death. Deathwalker is moving here, of course. We've used the bottom half of Wave of Anguish, which is fine. I might move 1 tile forward myself and move the shadow that's under me 1 tile forward. Why not? Then I'm going to use Deepening Despair, which creates dark and deals 4 damage to this hound. Feels like luck comes and goes sometimes, doesn't it? Alright, well, the hound's not dead. The hounds are going before my Bone Shaper. They are moving and attacking. So what I had been hoping to do here was use Pinning Charge to stop this hound from moving forward. I guess I still can. This actually works fine, yeah. I'm going to use the bottom half of At All Costs. I won't be summoning Charles Reinforcement here. I'll be moving here instead. I'm no longer within range of my banner strength, unfortunately. Wait, can I move here? Yes, that's within 4. Okay, that's better, because now I'm within range of my banner as well. And then I'm using air to buff Pinning Charge. So it'll deal 2 damage at 4 range, plus 1 from the banner, and it will immobilize its target. Oh my god, that lag. So 1, 2, 3. 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. And you are immobilized. You will not be moving toward me this turn. Actually, that is the end of my Banner Spear's turn. I get another loot. The loot deck is down to 6 cards, and there's a polar bear to kill still. So hopefully that will be one of the cards. Drifter's turn. What's the polar bear doing? Oh, it already moved. Okay. I guess I'm just going to hit it with continuous health, which is a ranged attack, so the retaliate doesn't matter. It did give itself 1 shield, and it's no longer poisoned, and, well, I used my potion that could poison it, so... Whoops. Anyway, I'll make this attack. +1! 2 damage. And then I will use Shockwave. I will use Shockwave to move next to it now. At this point, it feels like I can be next to it, and next turn I can make some melee attacks, and it's probably okay. The hounds go now. So first hound number 3, nope, first hound number 2. Hound number 2 would prefer to attack my banner spear than the skeleton. So I'm going to have it move here, I think. Let's stack loot on that tile. Does that actually work? Oh, does that work? What if this kills it? It's okay. We're stacking loot on the tile. We can pick up the loot somehow, some way. I don't necessarily have to pick it up this turn, I guess. It will draw an attack modifier. A curse. Doesn't hit. This one's immobilized. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First thing that happens in my Bone Shaper's turn is the Wraith attacks. +1. Dead. Next, my skeleton goes. I guess it's going over here. Oh, that actually does work. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Yeah, okay. Because my entire plan this turn was to use the bottom half of Eternal Torment to grant a summon a loot. So we're going to do that. Our skeleton picks up these loot pouches for us. There are 4 cards left in the loot deck. A coin and a lumber. And I do have the top half of Foul Remedy as well. If I'd like to heal someone, I guess I'll heal my Banner Spear for like 1. I don't have to consume Dark for experience if I don't want to. How are we doing on experience here? 61 versus 67, 63, 72. All right, I'll take an experience then. Consume Dark for that. It doesn't actually heal anymore though, because my Banner Spear is already at full health. And that is the end of round 13. All right, round 14 coming up. I'm going to have to short rest my Banner Spear and my Deathwalker. So let's do that first. I'm losing Javelin. Javelin has loot on it. Not really sure I want to do that. I think I'll reroll it. Losing Driving Inspiration, which is like a pretty similar card to Javelin, except that it doesn't have the ability to help me loot. 1 damage for doing that. And then my Deathwalker also needs to short rest. I have to keep the card that lets me teleport between shadows. So when I lose Black Barrage with my first thing, I'm not allowed to reroll, really. I mean, I'm allowed to reroll, but I think it would be a very poor choice. So I need to make sure that I don't lose Deepening Despair, as that is how we are getting out of the mission. Okay. Speaking of which, do I want to get out of the mission now? This is no longer impaired, and the first thing that happens this round is another hound spawns. We're at 4 in the loot deck. If we killed 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be it. It feels like it should be doable, doesn't it? Certainly feels like it should be doable. All right, we're gonna try to full farm the loot deck, I think. Somehow there is no more stuff. That was very under-descriptive. Somehow I no longer have any elements to use this turn. Okay. I can reapply Wound to the polar bear, maybe, unless it kills me first. Actually, my Drifter doesn't have any cards in hand, so if I have to burn cards for incoming damage this turn, like, my Drifter should be able to 1v1 a polar bear, okay? But the fight's been close enough to be interesting somehow. Did I lose the one that teleports shadows 2 hexes? I did. Kind of like to teleport a shadow toward the hounds to use Fluid Knight, but I guess I can't. Instead, I'm going to have to let them move first, I guess. And then I'll use Deepening Despair, because that's 4 damage. Use Fluid Knight, because it's 5 damage, which is more than 4 damage. Sure. Sure. Also channels Dark. I guess they both do. Oh, I guess I talked through all of my cards with you here. Okay, well, sure. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. We're toward the end of the mission now, where the turns are not taking very long to work out. I'm going with very slow initiative this turn, though. And the hounds are going first. So I can choose to unsummon this skeleton if I would rather the hounds were all the way up here, which might make it easier to loot them. I think I'm fine with the skeleton tanking a hit, though. Like, it's just going to die to this, probably. Yeah, at which point it's gone, and then the next one comes a little bit further. That's fine. So hound number 3 is gone, hound number 5 goes now, and then hound number 6 comes here and attacks my Banner Spear. -2 attack modifier, so I will take 2 damage. What's the polar bear doing? It is just attacking. It attacks for 5. -1 is 4. I also have a shield. It does wound my drifter. You can do it, Muckduck. I believe in you. Oh my god, the amount that I believe in you is so high. Deathwalker. So if I were to attack from this tile, I would be within range of the Banner of Strength. I guess I'd like to do that. So we're going to use Fluid Knight to make that attack. I will mark for death when I do this. What? What's going on? Alright, no damage, that's fine. I can move 2 and move all shadows up to 1 tile. You are now marked for death. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I don't think I need to do any moving. Deathwalker's turn is done. Bone Shaper's next, and the first thing that happens at the start of the Bone Shaper's turn is, and say it at home, -1 damage. Why does it always roll -1? I will use the top half of Wrath of the Turned Earth to take another attack for a little bit more damage. +1. Alright, that's more like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, because it started at 2. And then I can use Transfer Essence. Sure. I will take 2 damage. I will heal you to full. Works for me. Rifter's turn. This is my last Crushing Weight. Unless I would like to keep it. No, this is my last Crushing Weight. We commit. We commit. I deal 2 more damage with the bottom half of Bloodletting, so it's an attack for 3. Oh, it crit. Oh, it crit. Dead. I can move the character token on 2 of my person abilities backward 1 slot. Thank you. I have successfully killed a polar bear. I guess it was meant to be attacking me with disadvantage, but that doesn't really matter. Oh, I am wounded. Down to 4 health. I have no cards there, but I have enough cards in hand that I can like short rest, pick up the loot, and then leave. I think, I mean, it's really tempting to just do that instead of having to click on all the cards, right? One of the nice things about playing a game without it being like a computer game is that you can bend the rules and stuff like that in these sorts of situations. Anyway, I'm going to use the bottom half of Pinning Charge to move my Banner Spear here, and then use the top half of Tip of the Spear, which gives me an experience, to kill Hound number 6. 2 loot on the ground. I need to kill 2 more enemies, and they are standing right there in front of me. It's an achievable goal. Definitely an achievable goal. That's the end of round 14. You gotta understand, my Bone Shaper still has 8 cards. I can play another 14. Wait, 10, 14, 16. I can play another 16 turns plus long rests with Bone Shaper right now before exhausting. Ludicrous. Ludicrous stuff. I'm not even gonna read these cards. I'm just gonna go loot with my Drifter. Typically what I do with my Bone Shaper is I kind of, I mean, at least at this point of the mission, I just kind of click something random-ish. Let's do that. And I need Deepening Despair later. It's probably fine to use Call of Doom and Forceful Spirits with my Deathwalker. We'll start round 16. First thing that happens at the start of round 16 is another one of my Infinite Hounds spawns. They're going to move and attack. All right. Bone Shaper actually goes first, though. First thing that happens is my Wraith attacks. +0. I don't hate it. Next thing that happens is my Bone Shaper moves. So I'm going to move here so that I have line of sight, and then I'm going to make an attack for 2. Plus the banner strength is 3, which applies poison. Hound's at 1. Rude. That is my turn. I don't have a way of dealing any more damage. Nope. I've done a good job of using my items, actually. Ooh, I could use Boots of Transference to change who... Like, I could bring my Drifter here and put my Bone Shaper up there, maybe. Or no, my Bone Shaper can't be there. Oh, I could bring my Drifter here and put a Skeleton up there. And that way my Drifter would actually be able to be here. I wonder if there was a way to get my Drifter's Persistent Card Mastery quest done here. I don't think so. I don't have enough cards left. The Hounds move now. They are going to hit pretty hard. So Hound number 2 moves first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then Hound number 3 comes in. It attacks for 4. +1 is 5. And then Hound number 5 comes in and gets +2 damage on its attack because the target is adjacent to one of its allies. This is an attack for 6 base. -1. Banner Spear falls to 2. Not a lot of health. After that, it is my Banner Spear's turn. I'm going to use the melee attack version of Javelin, I think. Hold on. I could walk backwards now that I'm at 2 health. What move are you doing? Forceful Spirits? So you want to move forward. He has to loot still. Yeah, I think I'll move backwards. We're going to move to here with the bottom half of at all costs, and then use Javelin. Javelin's going to hit Hound number 5, who is at full health right now. -1 damage, but I have the Banner of Strength, so it hits for 3. And then my Deathwalker, the idea was... What was the idea? Oh, I need to move to here. I'm sorry. I moved to the wrong tile. My Deathwalker can move here, at which point it's within 2 range of both hounds. Now there's a funny thing around doorways. These 2 tiles are not adjacent to each other. They are 2 range away from each other. 1, 2. Which means I can make a ranged attack between the 2 tiles, but can't make a melee attack between the 2 tiles. And if I make a ranged attack between the 2 tiles, it isn't at disadvantage. So my first attack is going to go against this hound. I am consuming dark and gaining an experience here. We're dealing +1 damage and applying a curse. Unfortunately, because the enemy dies before the attack finishes, no curse is applied. Maybe I shouldn't have put that card in my deck. I feel like I'm often attacking an enemy which is about to die. Against hound number 5, I'm also going to use the banner. So +0 on an attack that started at 3, +1. Enemy's at 1 health and gets a mark for death on it. And then on my Drifter's turn, I am going to move here and not even look at what cards I played. That's your turn. What's my loot? Another hide. Very good. The loot deck has 3 cards left? Are there 2 loot pouches there? Where's the last... I didn't realize I had to kill this as well. Actually, I felt very strongly that I didn't have to kill that as well. Did I not pick up a loot pouch at some point? 1, 2, 3. I guess I do have to kill it as well. Okay, well, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to be short resting with my Deathwalker because I didn't play Deepening Despair. It's still in my hand, which means I don't have to worry about losing it. I am running out of cards here. This is going to be a limit to how much longer I can stay in the fight. I have like 3 more turns, maybe. First thing we do, start around 16. 1 more of our Infinite Hound supply. Thank you. What are the hounds doing? Ooh, they're doing their nasty thing where they attack and move and attack again. It shouldn't matter that much here. Counter Spear, I'm going to heal myself and give myself regen. I could also just move up and make a melee attack, actually. I'm at 2 health. 4 cards in discard. I'm gonna move up and make a melee attack. If I crit miss, I get retaliated against, and I have to burn 2 cards. So hopefully I don't crit miss. But like, I mean, yeah, -1 is fine. Oh, there was a loot pouch underneath that. Okay. So there's 3 loot right there. That's all the loot I need, right? 1, 2, 3. Very cool. Well, it's my Banner Spear's turn. My Deathwalker's turn. I am going to... I guess I'll move 3 and channel a dark. Get 2 loot tokens. A coin and a coin. You know, I don't hate getting 4 more gold right now. That feels very relevant. Oh, it tells you what the last card in the deck is. It's kind of funny. If you have 1 card that's flipped over, it will tell you what its name is. I could have worked it out because I know what the composition of the deck is to begin with, but yeah. First thing that happens on my Bone Shaper's turn is the Wraith moves. The Wraith is now standing on top of the loot, which means I could use it to loot. In theory. Means I have to stay in the fight for 1 more turn. What if instead we put it here and somebody else can do the looting next turn? Drifter is going to move here and leave. Great work out there, Muck Duck. But yeah, there's no real reason you have to stick around anymore. And the hounds are gonna go attack, move. Oh, actually it does move all the way to here. So it's an attack with disadvantage against the Deathwalker. I didn't realize it moved that far. That's my bad. +0 on an attack for 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and this one attack, move, attacks. That does significantly less. How do I get out of here now? I don't really want to have to deal with that hound. Did my Bone Shaper move? I forgot to move with my Bone Shaper. Like my Wraith moved and then I didn't move the actual character. I'll give you 5 health. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm at 1 now. Okay. Round 17. I think at this point, I know there's a lumber in the loot deck, but it's not the end of the world if I don't get it. I think I have to start giving myself the possibility of leaving every turn now. Because if I fail to leave because I get immobilized, I want to be able to try again the next turn, basically. So a thing I'm going to do is give myself the ability to leave this round if needed. Drifter has already left the mission. And I don't need to move far, I just need a move of 2. I wish. It's okay, we can just leave the lumber, right? What I can do is I can summon a skeleton and then just hope that it gets to loot next turn. which might actually work. I think there's actually a pretty good chance that it does work. All right, first thing that happens, starting round 17, we spawn one of our infinite supply of hounds. There is one loot card left. The hounds are going to move and attack. Pretty normal turn. In this case, though, many of their targets will have already left before they do. So my Deathwalker is going to use the bottom half of Deepening Despair. This card is lost at the end of turn, but during this round, I gain 1 experience, and myself and all allies may treat each hex with a shadow as being adjacent to each other hex with a shadow during move abilities. I also have a move for 3, so I move from here to there, 1 move, 2 move, 3 moves. And then I guess I can use Fluid Knight if I'd like, but honestly, I don't want the experience, I don't think, so I just won't. I leave. Ooh. I don't know if I have to do that. Certainly my character didn't actually get exhausted. You're done. Oh, when that happens... Oh, shoot, I actually can't do that. I think when I do that, all of my shadows disappear. So actually it's of quite significant consequence that I don't leave right now. Okay, Banner Spear. I'll have to leave next turn with my Deathwalker. It's not like the end of the world, really. Banner Spear can use a Javelin first to hit this for 4. Hit it for 6. And then I will move 4. 1, 2, 3. And again, I won't leave either because I want to keep this Banner of Strength around, I guess. Which is fine. It's allowed. Wait, hounds move now. First up, we have Hound number 2. I'm going to have Hound number 2 move here to make its attack. A +2 modifier, that is enough to kill the Wraith. Rest in peace, Wraith. It did well. It did well. I feel like it drew -1 a lot of times, but you know what? It still did well. And then Hound number 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Hound number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. My Bone Shaper, first thing that happens in my Bone Shaper's turn is I feel bad that my Wraith is dead. Then I'm going to summon a Skeleton, which deals me 2 damage. I have to lose a card because I'm on 1 health, which I guess is fine. And then I'm going to move 4. Hello, please, please. 1, 2, I'll just move to here. So all of my characters can leave next turn. However, before I do so, it's like guaranteed, there's no risk anymore. What I want to do though is try to get this loot, and I can try to get this loot. The way that I try to get the loot is I short rest with my Bone Shaper. That is fine to lose. And we're going to go with Flow of the Black River for 18 initiative and Eternal Torment to grant one of my summons loot 1. And the Skeleton is going to walk forward, attack, and then loot for me, and then I'm going to leave. Thank you, Skeleton. We did not deserve you. I guess we short rest with my Deathwalker. Doesn't really matter, does it? I could also long rest as far as I can tell. That's my last turn. Just like straight up, that's it. If I didn't have those 2 cards left, I would lose the mission, because if one of my characters exhausts, I lose. So yeah, I may have been underestimating how important it was to leave that turn. I definitely was, because I forgot that when I leave, my shadows disappear. At least I'm pretty sure when I leave, my shadows disappear. My card should disappear, so the ability of... Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I leave, like, I strand my friends. Honestly, maybe they could have just run out. I think probably they could have. I still have quite a few cards, and there are move 4s in there. So, first thing that happens this round is we make an Elite Hound And then we find out whether this skeleton can get to the loot or not. And the answer is, by 1 initiative, yes. The skeleton moves here. It makes this attack. Crit miss. Isn't that the 3rd time the skeleton has crit missed a hound? It's okay though. Grant one of your summons. Loot 1 with you gaining all of the loot. That is the end of the loot deck for the mission. Congratulations, everyone. I don't even know how I rotated that. I guess I must have pressed E. And all of my characters leave, and we won! Woo! Just to give you a sense of how much all of the loot for the mission is. It's quite a lot. The pack is far behind you now. Their snarls and barks fading far into the distance, and so finally you let yourselves slow to a march. The cold for once comes as a reprieve. You let it wash over and steal away the heat of battle, evaporating your sweat and taking the sting from your wounds. For a long time after that, you march. The valley extends onward into the icy expanse of the north, finally opening into a vast field crowded with towering icy spikes. It looks almost like another forest, huge frozen pillars all gathered together, but these are no kind of tree you've seen. They are raw, frozen obelisks, enormous ice spears shot forth from the ground like huge monuments to some forgotten god. You doubt this is what Satha was imagining when she sent you this way, but these things can't be ignored. You scan the horizon and notice that deep in the expanse one structure stands apart. Larger and darker in color than the others, it's less a spike than a spire, and it reigns over the landscape like a lord's keep. You have the choice. You can either march to the massive spire or opt for a closer target. You do notice one not too distant spike that does look a little curious. It is shorter than the rest, but also wider. It might be worth a cursory investigation before venturing too deep into this unknown field. So, we have gained a collective lumber and 2 collective hides. I'm just going to give those to the character who's trying to become a merchant. A lumber and 2 hides. To work toward getting this done, we need all of these materials. And we have unlocked 2 new scenarios. Where are we? Crystal Trench. We unlock Ancient Spire and Derelict Elevator. Ancient Spire and Derelict Elevator. So yeah, I mean, this game has a spire you slay in it. That's kind of cool. I have never done either of these missions, but next episode I will be doing my town phase and then working out which of them to go to, because I want to find some bolt throwers that I can kill with my Deathwalker to complete my first retirement quest. So thank you all for tuning in. We got all the loot. We got all of... Wait. Did I exit a room with a loot token in it? Oh, I'm going to have to look at the replay. I think I might have accidentally done that. Well, I'll check the replay on that and tell you next time. We got almost all of the stuff. Also, did I accidentally do this? Oh, I need to look at the replay. I might have accidentally done that too. Whoops. Well, at least we got all the loot. I don't know. Did our best. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'll do the bookkeeping, and I will see you next time.